how to meditate for answers and clarity about all of the things that might feel stuck or where you're experiencing frustration in all the different aspects of your life. This is a really powerful method of deconditioning, and you can do it every single night, and it's really helpful to do every single night because sometimes when triggers are actually coming up in your daily life, like in the moment, you don't really have the space, the time, the safety to release the pattern that's getting triggered in your body. So I like to do this most nights, every night. Like, honestly, the more I do it, the more I want to do it multiple times a day, even. So I want to share with you a little story first and foremost of I was doing this 2 nights ago in myself, and I was just reviewing my day, and I had posted on Instagram that day, and I was just reviewing that experience for me and like reviewing it mentally, like calling it forward mentally, but more importantly, feeling what it felt like to create the content, to post the content, to sit with the energy after it posted, to sit with the engagement of it. And in my body, I felt a lot of contraction. I felt a lot of contraction in my stomach. I felt like my neck started to like contort up like this as I was just letting myself fully feel the experience. Now, disclaimer, I am like trained in trauma release and I focus on trauma release, so my body naturally and very easily goes into trauma release states when I am regulated enough to go there, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. So I was feeling the energy and I was feeling all the tension. And this is one of the most important parts. When you feel tension in your body, a lot of somatic education or educators will tell you, like, okay, maybe you feel tension in your throat. Maybe you want to tone, sigh it out, shake, move, dance. If you feel this in your belly, like massage it or like move the energy. This is not how trauma release actually happens. Trauma is stored in the autonomic nervous system, which is the same nervous system that beats your heart on its own, that digests on its own. There's no voluntary, meaning like mental assertion of what it should be doing. So when you feel the tension, the contraction coming up, to really let your body metabolize that stuck energy that's inside your body, you don't voluntarily force any modality or any like practice to move it. You just let it move on its own. You don't react to it. You let it move on its own. The contraction might slowly start to build. You might start to pulse on your own. You might dissociate if it's like too much or too uncomfortable, depending on the severity of the trauma that led to that trigger, that led to the beginning of that pattern. So for me, in the tension that I was feeling around social media, I felt the contraction start to build. I felt this tension building up in my solar plexus and in my throat, and I just stayed with it. And I just let it keep moving, building slowly on its own. And as it does so, it starts to what's the word? It starts to spread, but it also starts to like dilute. The more I stay with it, the more it moves and the quicker that it can kind of just dissolve. Once it dissolves in a very interesting pattern because it doesn't just go away, it doesn't just like decrease and evaporate. It transforms into sexual life force. And it moves, and it's not just like in your yoni, it's not just what you might think of when I say sexual life force, but it moves into this very pleasurable, pulsing, warm energy that can be recirculated into like orgasmic energy. So that's just a story of like, okay, so and then the climax of the story is from that state where the energy has moved and moved into this more like pleasure state, so much inspiration and ideas and creativity just starts flooding in. Why that pattern is there, what it's trying to show you, so that you're not a victim to it, but you can actually use it as feedback and as intel for your life and what direction to move in. So for me, what I saw was that I was still trying to squeeze myself. And that's where the contraction came in, because I was trying to contract myself into what I thought other people wanted from me. Even though it's less than it was before, it's still there. And the moral of that journey, that specific frequency that I was exploring, was that I feel so much more expanded by longer form content, by these opportunities to drop in deeper, to really let my channel flow, to not be trying to squeeze myself into a trending audio or a carousel post, or like just some things that I've found myself sneakily or unconsciously trying to like morph my energy into, so that I could grow more, like get more audience or go viral or like whatever. Even though I've been deconditioning that for a few years now, I saw it start to like sneak back in, and it was creating a lot of tension in my body, because my truest desire is to really express freely in this way, and to really let myself be seen so much more in this way, and to really connect so much deeper in this way, and let my channel flow and really have this experience of trusting myself and sharing deeper what the practices are and what the work is that I'm really embodying right now and what I'm offering to other people. Like I've been craving to just let myself be seen more in it, and it wasn't fitting in the model that I was trying to squeeze it into. And that experience of it not fitting was creating a lot of contraction in my body. So with this new clarity and this higher awareness of what my truer desires really are, what the resolution is of that frustrated energy that I was picking up on in my days, now that energy, that pattern has served itself. It showed me, this is so exciting, because it showed me why it was there, why that contraction was there. And instead of continuing the frustration and continuing to try and squeeze myself into a template, a trending audio, etc., instead of continuing to bump my energy up and stub my toe in this frustrating way, even if it's unconscious, I sat with the energy inside of my body, and I got so much higher wisdom and intelligence from it. And now I can safely and confidently say that that pattern has served its purpose. And that pattern is now integrated. And that trauma, because trauma isn't just, big T sexual trauma or getting hurt or, an accident or abuse. Trauma is just energy that is stuck in the body. Something came into your field and your awareness, and instead of moving it through and digesting the experience, it got stuck in your body because you dissociated or you went into fight or flight, and you couldn't actually digest that experience. So now that trauma can be like resolved and moved through, and you can keep expanding and keep growing into how your life is designed to grow. Like, this has been a calling for me to get back into longer form content and to share more and to express more. So that's what my life has been guiding me into. But when you're stuck in trauma and you can't listen to your body, you can't get intelligence from the trauma, that's when you keep looping and keep hitting the same walls and keep staying in the same reality or the same level of your reality without the expansion and growth. And so then you start to feel depressed, you feel stuck, you feel stagnant. Your reality starts to feel really dense. Your decision making starts to reflect that this I'm not safe, I'm not worthy, it's not safe for me to express myself, etc. So this is the practice. What I do now multiple times a day is I let myself relax, take some deep breaths, come back into the body. And then I'll just go through from the moment I woke up, whatever feels relevant for you. If you want to revisit yesterday, if you want to revisit this past month and do like a month review, time is kind of irrelevant here. The more I do it, the more I could explore the last hour and start to really fine tune and refine like the subtle energetics. So go back to wherever you want to start this cleanup process and just let yourself feel from what happened in your reality from the moment you woke up. Did you check your phone? Did you go into stress? What what stresses or stories did you pick up from yesterday that just carried over? And you might start to feel immediately, like even right now, I can feel this kind of this like flame of fire, this heat start to move through my hip and kind of on the left side of my belly. And you just stay with it. And as you move through the timeline that you're working with, some things will hit you harder than other. Like maybe you had to have a difficult conversation with a friend or a parent or your partner, or this thing happened that he disappointed you in, or you didn't speak up in this moment. Whatever you need to process will become very clear to you. And as you're reviewing that moment in your timeline, focus 100% on the sensation that's coming up in your body. And again, instead of shaking it out or doing breath work to move it, try to just hold the sensation with awareness without reacting to it at all. Because again, the autonomic nervous system moves involuntarily, and this trauma cannot be released through voluntarily placing movement or strategy on top of it. It moves on its own, and you need to trust that. So I want you to just hold the tension and trust that this is clearing it out. The more you can just hold the tension and watch as it expands, as it builds in contraction, you might start pulsing, you might make some involuntary sudden movements of contorting. And just let your body do its own thing with discharging some of the stuck energy that got caught in your field like a net, got caught in the net of your field. And just visit it. You don't have to fully release the pattern if it's a very elongated, like consistent, what's the word, chronic pattern in your life. Like this could take many, many, many times, or maybe even deeper support to work through, especially if you have a pattern of dissociating. But that energy will start to move and it will start to digest. And on the other side of it, you will feel the levity of the situation where you won't be stuck in the pattern. Your body, your energy imprint, your essence is not stuck in the body. You've processed it, you've held it, You've observed it, and naturally you get levity. You get to see the situation. You get to feel the situation from a higher vantage point. And from that higher vantage point, you have answers, you have clarity, you have, oh, that's why this random person came into my life recently, or that's why I recently saw this person on social media, because they're actually expanding me into what I do want, what is the antithesis of this trauma pattern that my body has been in. You see the answers in your grid once you get out of the pattern, once you've digested the pattern. And this is how you continue your path of growth and expansion in a very natural and organic way. Because you're not just spiritually bypassing, you're not just quantum leaping, but this actually kind of is how you quantum leap, is by digesting your triggers and letting the energy actually move through your system, getting levity of the situation, receiving the answers. And again, the answers have probably, most likely, already been exposed to you. It's like almost like it's underneath your nose. And you'll see, like, oh, that's why this person came to me, or that's why this thing happened in this way. And then you have your path. It's the path least chosen because you haven't walked that way, because you've been stuck in these patterns for God knows how long, years, decades, some of these patterns. But your path opens up for you, and it's subtle at first. And if you can pursue that sexual pleasure life force that starts to replace the trauma and the tension, and if you can follow those pathways in your body, if you can move that energy, if you have a wand or your own pleasure practice to keep moving that energy, spreading that energy through your system, your energy body will start to resonate on a different level, where you'll have more access to different people. You'll be way more present and grounded in your reality, where you won't unconsciously keep choosing more self-deprecating habits and choices and relationships and food things and trauma bonds and people pleasing. Like, you'll wake up in your consciousness so that you're not just choosing those things unconsciously all the time just because it's the ingrained pattern. When you move into this more grounded, regulated, conscious state, which is, it's at this point, it's only been a 20-minute meditation practice, but you're getting there, and you can feel the difference start to happen as you feel more regulated. You have more levity of your triggers. New pathways are already opening up for you. You're seeing them, you're getting those answers, you're getting that clarity. It's so important now to move forward. To move forward on those paths, to take the first step of what you saw, of what you felt. This is how you open up portals, and how you open up portals that are relevant to your life. Here's the thing, like, don't just hear someone talk about something on social media and be like, I want to quantum leap into that. It's like your body is showing you what portals are relevant to you based on the triggers that you're experiencing in your daily life. One of my favorite quotes by Peter Crone is, life will always show you where you are not free. You don't have to force this process. You don't have to force deconditioning. Just work with your triggers, work with how your body is responding to your life and your reality. And that will show you your specific path of where you're designed to grow. It's already all there. So I'm not saying that the person that's influencing you on social media and like their dream life is not designed for you if you have a sacral response to it. But the thing that's going to be way more meaningful and way more impactful and way more delicious for you is to work with your reality and get the intelligence from your body, open up the pathways from your challenges and your triggers and your stresses and your tensions, process those, open up the new pathways with the clarity, with the insights, trust them, and start to plant your seeds of your energy, of your intention, of your focus, of your actions into those pathways and water them. And love yourself as you take the first steps. And trust that you are taking these steps to take care of yourself, that this is what self-love actually looks like. And as you're doing this, you might notice that your energy is less available for certain friendships or certain foods or certain habits that you were doing that just start to drop off. They don't even become relevant anymore. And they just don't resonate. Like, they just drop off. You start to glow. You start to have really clean energy and not boundaries in a sense of like, I'm too sensitive and I need boundaries, but it's just like a really easy, subtle, no, I'm not available for that. No, I actually don't want that. And it's not, I'm overstimulated and I can't process this, so I need boundaries around these relationships. It's just like, no, I don't want that. That's not in alignment with me. And I want to say it's subtle, but it's actually not. But like, how you say no and how you design your actions on this new path that you're opening up to, it's all about the energy that you're in, the regulated, grounded, present energy that you're in when you're making those decisions, because you're no longer in this trauma loop, this trauma pattern. And you might have to go back and do this. I mean, not that you might have to, it's necessary to continue this practice, because just doing it once or twice is not going to resolve a trauma pattern that has been there your whole life or since you were a teenager. It requires maintenance and continual action on the path that is opening up for you. So that's that. This is me taking actions for the insights and clarity that opened up for me, of really wanting to drop in deeper and share more of my essence, share more of my teachings and my insights in a deeper way than just reels on Instagram. I hope that you benefited from this transmission, and please engage, share. It really helps me. Give me feedback, comment what you liked, what you're working on. Yeah, I would love to hear from you, and I would love to connect with you guys deeper. So that's that. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, a beautiful Sunday, and I'm going to come back on again probably tomorrow.